right, we are back, 2026 here on the official podcast of the Fredericksburg Nationals, This Week in FredNats. I'm Eric Bach. So happy to be joined from West Palm Beach. Can't believe it. It's January 21st, and he's already in West Palm Beach, one of our all-time favorite FredNats, Mr. Kevin Bazzell. Baz, so good to see you. So good to hear your voice. How are things going? Off-season is now kind of done as of today.
Yes, sir. Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me on. Yeah, so how we're doing it here in West Palm is basically it's kind of still like off season. We just get to see all the guys, so it's pretty fun. Getting to see everybody. It feel on it to be completely honest with you, it feels like we just left Virginia, but it's still cool to see everybody and get to start playing baseball again. So
Yeah, this is a new thing the Nats are doing under the new leadership is the January mini camp for some of the people in the organization. When did you find out that you were going to be a part of that?
I think it was the second, maybe January 2nd. So
Oh, okay.
we were on a dead period, and then after the dead period was over, they called, and I was actually at a wedding for one of my buddies. But yeah, just a second they told me I was reporting to 20th, so pretty cool. But I'm excited to be here.
Speaking of weddings, congratulations, my man, on
Thank
the
you.
big time engagement to your fiance Kylie. That's a Texas Tech love story if I've ever heard one. So congrats to you
Oh.
guys. Anything you want to share about that whole process?
No, I mean she's awesome, and I'm super excited for all this whole wedding planning and all. I'm not sure how it all works, but we're about to figure it out, and I'm excited about it.
I mean, as long as you show up and everything's good, I think that you're going to be let off the hook. I think
Right.
weddings are a little more for women, the planning purposes, right?
Right.
Gotta
Just
love it.
tell me where to go and when to say I do. I'm in.
I remember we were talking during the season about how that was something you were planning on doing in the off season. So I'm just so happy for you guys that it was able to work out. Any other off season travel activities that's been going on before we dive into some baseball stuff?
Oh no, no. I mean, hung out. We went. I got to go on an elk hunt this year, so that was pretty fun. Did a lot of bird hunting, but other than that, just kind of stayed home. We went to Colorado for Christmas time, and then that's where I actually proposed to Kylie. But yeah, other than that, just stayed home. Got to enjoy family time. So
Where does one elk hunt?
Northwest Colorado is where we were.
Okay, so you made that part of the Colorado trip then?
Hmm.
Did you get anything? Anybody in the group?
Yeah, the whole so there's four of us actually hunting, and everybody killed out, so it was fun.
Well, hey, good enough then.
I know,
Uh,
right?
Texas Tech football. I gotta ask you about that because it's such an interesting thing. Great season, right?
Hmm.
Everybody's talking about all the NIL stuff. Obviously, it ended in the CFP. I wanted to ask you specifically. Texas Tech has kind of turned into a bit of a model school for how to do NIL in this current crazy collegiate landscape. Did you get any piece of that pie? Were you a part of that when you were there,
Hmm.
or was that
No,
as it kind of evolved since you left?
we were talking about that today. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say I didn't get NIL, but no, I missed that by I think about a year.
Yeah,
So,
the big machine of it, right?
but it's still cool. It's cool, man, to get to see what they're turning every program into. It's there's a lot people that went to Tech or played sports there, or just went to school there. We're all diehard fans, and just to get to watch, especially football right now,
Mm.
just overnight it was different, and it's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, I mean, that had to have been just an amazing fall for you, just as a Texas Tech fan, knowing that this team is like a legit machine.
Hmm. And it unfortunately it didn't work out at the end the way that I know that they wanted it to, but I think it's something that for years to come, it seems like it's gonna just keep getting good players and keep trying to win a championship. So hopefully the baseball side gets some of that too. I'm not really sure what's going on if they're if baseball is really getting that yet, but if they do, it'd be really cool to see. So
Feels like they got to spread the wealth a little bit. I mean, with the whole rev share thing now, that's somewhat regulated. Who knows what's actually going to end up happening with all that stuff right now? But man, when you got West Texas oil money, that opens some doors
Right.
to do some things. So that's what's happening right now in Lubbock. Okay, let's talk a little ball.
Okay.
We're, gosh, I don't know, 4 months, 3.5 months removed from the season, from
Hmm.
playing like actual meaningful games. Uh, now that you've got that zoomed out look, now that you're back in West Palm Beach preparing for 2026, when you think back of 2025, what are some thoughts that come up when you think about the totality and the whole of the season here in Fredericksburg?
It was fun, man. I'll say we were talking about it today because there's a few other guys here, and it felt like we had just went home for a week or whatever and came back. We definitely a bunch of the guys I made some good friends, and it probably that'll be forever. And as far as the baseball side of it, man, it was good. It was good, and there's parts that were bad. There was parts that were really good, and I think personally, like my catching needed to come a long way, and it still does. But I started seeing a glimpse of it working out, you know, and it's a hard position to just like start playing when you get to college.
Yeah.
And I played it a little bit in high school, but it's a tough position to just I'm gonna play infield today and then go catch tomorrow, and how that's kind of how it was, and it's hard to do it that way. But I got to be back there every day and figure it out, and still, like I said, there's a lot of things that need improvement, but I'm starting to see the upside of it and all that. So it was pretty cool, and you know no matter what, I knew that I was going to get a chance to go catch every day, and I got to be with a good group of guys while I was doing it. So,
Yeah, and that's you kind of stole my next question because yes, you were drafted as a catcher, but you were even at Texas Tech significantly splitting your time between the infield and behind the plate. And the Nationals put all their chips for you into the center of the table, as in like you are going to be a catcher. I mean,
mhm.
I haven't seen you in 2 seasons take a ground ball ever. So what was it one, what was your reaction when you were told that like you are going to be the guy in Fredericksburg catching pretty much every single day? And how did you at first adjust to that? Because it has to be a huge adjustment. I remember early in the season there maybe were some times where maybe you were feeling it a little bit more in your body than you were used to.
um, I got used to it. To be honest with you, that I thought it was going to be worse than it was
Okay,
as far as like my body wearing down. To be
that's
completely
good.
honest with you, and I don't know why. I think whenever because whenever Rom was there and all that, we whoever wasn't catching that day was catching bullpen. So I was really catching every day,
Yep.
even on the days I had day off or DH or whatever. But no, it I don't know, it got pretty normal, especially once he left and I started catching more. It I didn't really get as sore as I thought. I thought I was gonna be beat up at the end, but it was pretty good.
So you did the catching thing every day, but on the
Hmm.
last episode we talked to Randall Diaz about a lot of things, but one of the main topics was about the clubhouse camaraderie and how despite all the turnover, you guys were able to keep that core nucleus really strong and bring new people into the fold when other people got promoted or hurt or left or whatever. Can you speak on that about how that was able to be accomplished? Because this team, this 2025 FredNat team definitely won a lot of games in the margins that could have gone either way. And I really think that the clubhouse aspect of that was a huge factor in you guys being able to win so many close games.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on a lot of teams, some teams with good players that didn't win a lot, and some with not as good of players that won a lot. And I think it's a lot of the time, y- as far as in the clubhouse, you can't really fake it. Like, I think that we all just got along from the start, and we all did. Most of us hung out off the field too, and I think that's a big thing. But yeah, I agree. I think that, it helped us a lot and win some games. Just the fact that we we weren't faking friendships when we got to the field. Like we all were pretty excited to see each other. So it made it more enjoyable though for me than anything. Like this is our job, but
Yeah.
whenever you have good coworkers, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's the most relatable thing you'll probably say in this whole podcast. But I mean, the season is just so, if you haven't been through it and you haven't been in it every single day, it's hard to even describe to somebody from the outside. So, I mean, I agree that the closeness and the camaraderie of your coworkers, as you say, is so very important. Randall specifically mentioned you as somebody that just naturally has those abilities to kind of bring people together both on and off the field. What do you think? One, I think you could probably say the same about him. And two, what do you think he's observing on you in the clubhouse to see like, yeah, Baz is a guy is kind of a glue guy.
Randall's, like you said, Randall's the same way. I think we just it's all we're trying to make everything fun, every situation, even if it's not. And I think we're both similar in that. Like we're always joking, it's always sarcasm, and it for me, it's just a way for I don't know. It's just whenever something might be boring or whatever, let's mess around, joke around, whatever. And Randall and I, did that a lot together. So, but really, the whole team was kind of like that, and it was even when we were in a serious game and all that. There was people joking in the dugout and all that, and I think that sometimes there's coaching staffs that don't allow that kind of stuff in the dugout, but I think it's important, and they would be, allowing us to do it and sometimes like being a part of it as far as the staff was a part of it. And so it made it more fun to be at the field. Like we liked going because we knew we were gonna get to joke around and mess around. And during BP, like, yeah, we're gonna take it serious over here when you're hitting or whatever, but whenever you're not, let's make it as fun as we can. So
It seemed like everybody had a really good feel for when it was time to lock it in and be
mhm.
serious and get your business done, but also be able to let loose and have fun with the teammates. I just think that that's such a it takes a lot of emotional intelligence from everybody involved to realize like what is the time for play, what's the time for work, and I think that you guys found that balance. Has that kind of always been the role that you've played on whatever team you've been on, kind of the unifier glue guy?
I mean, I'm not trying to be that.
Right.
You can walk by. Jackson Kent is my roommate. He just walked in.
Hi, Jackson Kent.
Hello. No, I definitely don't. That's not my goal. Is to be that. I don't know. I like to have fun, especially when I'm in in the clubhouse or in the dugout or whatever. So if I be that role, then so be it. But really, I'm just trying to have fun. So
Love it. I mean, easy enough. It is a
mhm.
game. You gotta try to have some fun with it. Okay. So when you first got drafted and came here to Fredericksburg at the end of 2024, obviously won the ring. That was super exciting. Jake Lowry was the manager of that team, and now he's your catching coordinator.
Mhm.
So that's got to be a super exciting development for you. I know that you two got along well. Obviously, he's a former catcher. He was the manager. He was the manager in Wilmington last year. Now he's the catching coordinator. I'm sure you're looking forward to building up that relationship with the old skipper.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited about it, and we talked about it today and yesterday about Randy Knorr was awesome, and he helped me
Yeah.
a lot with catching and all that. And I am so thankful for the time I got to, learn from him and all that. But if someone was to replace him,
Yeah.
it's Jake. So I'm super excited about it. I think that, I'm going to get to learn and become a better catcher because of him, and so I'm excited about it.
I remember you saying during the season when we were talking about all your caught stealings and all your defensive stuff that Randy was a huge part in helping you develop that. So
Mhm.
yeah, definitely exciting to have Jake, but I'm sure that not having Randy certainly will take some getting used to. Was there a specific plan that they had for you at the start of the season when they were getting you into, oh, you're going to catch every single day. This is going to be your role. Was there anything specific that you can remember that they actually specifically coached you on, like to prepare you for that daily stuff? Because I just, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around how well you performed defensively in a professional, long 130 some game season really with no drop off, having not caught full time before. It's just like hard for me to compute in my brain how you were able to do that. Do you remember the plan put in place that allowed you to kind of have that success?
There wasn't necessarily a plan. I think just, you get to spring training and at first it's tough, but every day it gets a little bit easier and your body gets more in shape and all that. And then as long as you keep it going throughout the season, that was the biggest thing for me is every day if I could just do a little bit to keep my body in shape, then it helped a lot, especially as the week went on, at the end.
Okay, so I want to go back to the the 2025 season, which for you, really, if you split it into two halves offensively, the first half not so good, the second half way, way, way better. Like by every metric, more power, higher average, higher contact, higher quality of contact. How were you able to mentally stick with it? Because I know that first 6 or so weeks of the season was probably more than you've struggled combined in your entire baseball career.
Mhm.
So how are you able to get out of it and get yourself back to the player that we know you are?
Uh, just stop thinking so much, to be honest with you. I've always been good whenever I didn't think, or when I don't think, I just go play. And to be honest with you, as far as the back half, I think that the catching stuff helped because my whole life I've never really been very good at defense, to be honest with you. So I've had to hit, and um, this was really the first year where I felt like I was pretty good at defense now. And so it kind of took a little bit of pressure off of like, okay, if I don't get 2 hits today, then I didn't help the team at all. So it was a little bit different. It helped me not think as much.
Yeah, and can you point to specific people during that process that kind of helped you let go and stop thinking so much? Do you remember any specific piece of advice when you were really in the weeds that you got that kind of lightened your load a little bit?
Oh, we were talking about today actually. Jake Lowry actually texted me at one point and basically was like, "You're a good player." He sent out this long text, which was cool. But I'd say probably my dad. My dad helped a lot with it and helping me realize like, okay, at this point you've tried to change your swing a few times and it hasn't worked. So maybe it's not as much your swing as it is your mindset and approach and all that. So he definitely helped with that. And at the end, I mean, I try to just not think about anything, and all of a sudden I start hitting the ball. So
And
it's weird how that works.
we'll talk a little bit about that first home run that we got in the last playoff game. How often are you in communication with your dad during the season?
Uh, well, my mom and my dad, I talk to him pretty much every day.
Okay. So
So
there
it
it's a constant back and forth of like, oh, this is what happened today, blah blah blah, or is it a little bit less about baseball and a little more bigger picture?
I would say with my dad, it's probably 50-50 baseball and then life. And then with my mom, it's rarely about baseball, really. So I think she gets her information from my dad for sure.
Yeah,
But we usually just talk about whatever. So
that's good. I mean, it's good to have that escape too. And obviously you had some close friends with you in the clubhouse that you knew even before this whole Fredericksburg experience. I mean, obviously you and Nate Romback have the history, you and Rob Kranz. I mean, those having those guys around, you guys are frankly quite lucky that you had people from your past in your same organization because that's not the case for everybody. A lot of guys show up to an org where they know
absolutely.
nobody.
Well, the other thing that's cool about it too is that as far as like being in spring training when everybody's here, it's
Right.
cool because you get to know everybody because say Rob's hanging out with a random group and then I kind of get to meet everybody through that. So I don't know, we kind of got to know everybody quicker because of that for sure. But it helped. It definitely helped in the locker room at Fred and Freddie.
So the spring training locker room is really where these relationships, the foundation of them are built, is what you would say.
I mean, that's just where there's so many people there. Sometimes it's tough, and you get to
Right.
know somebody's name and all that. But no, I'd say definitely when you go off when we got to Fredericksburg, the rest of the group, that's where our relationships really started, I think.
Really cool. Okay, let's go into these clips now.
Okay.
We've got a few of them queued up here. Uh, Mostly caught stealings in different situations, and one big swing at the end of it too. So let's look at this first one here. It's a road game in Columbia. I just pulled, you had four separate games this season in which you had three or more caught stealings in a game. This is one of them. And this is a first and third situation. So obviously every situation is different. How are you thinking about a first and third situation, especially with two strikes and two outs, as we see in this first clip with Merrick Baldo on the mound?
Um, well, there was a point in the season where we weren't, as a team, we were not hitting good. And I can't really remember at what point this was at, but we had to keep the game close. So we rarely were really throwing with first and third. And
Right,
so if Billy gave the sign to where me or Romback could throw at first and third, we were praying that they would start running.
right,
So, um, which was cool. I There at the end, we got to throw pretty much every time with first and third, but I don't know if you remember, there was a point where if it was first and third, they could have just walked to second because we weren't throwing.
right. Because you were worried about preventing the run scoring from
Right.
third.
We just
Yeah.
we weren't scoring enough runs to give up runs like that. So
So a lot of the year it would be a signal from the dugout in a first and third, as in like you can throw or just eat it or pump lots of different options, I assume.
yes, so
Okay.
it was mostly pump fakes at that point for sure.
Okay. Yeah, so this Columbia series was at the end of July into August. So I think that was kind of when the offense turned itself around a little bit. Obviously we see in this specific game that we're talking about, it's 4-0. So the second one is a first and second double steal situation, but you throw back behind the second runner to second and the guy's out by a mile. Can you just kind of walk me through this second play with Ryan Minkler on the mound?
If I remember correctly, that play, I was actually supposed to throw it to third, and I called to throw to third, but the guy on first got the worst jump I've ever seen.
Right.
So did Dickerson catch that?
I believe it was Feliz out there. Yeah,
Oh yeah, okay.
Feliz.
So I knew it was one of them. But whichever one it was, they went to the bag, and I saw, and they knew too, like we need to get this guy because the guy on second got a pretty good jump. So yeah, I called to third, no hesitation, with his second when I saw the guy because he waited until the guy at second was basically in a full sprint before he even took off.
Yeah, and it's interesting in all these clips that I pulled, there's a different pitcher on the mound every single time. Is there any type of conversation that you have with a starting pitcher or a new pitcher that comes into the game? Like when Minkler comes in, what are you reminding him about as it relates to the running game as the catcher?
That had nothing to do with me, to be honest.
Okay.
Lordy kept them, and it was big in their bullpens and all that to be quick to the plate. And I can't remember, there was a number that they had to be under. It's probably 1-3 or so. But he was really big on that, and which I'm thankful for because I got to throw out more people. I mean, it's tough whenever if there's an entire staff that takes forever to throw it to home. But I would say our pretty much our whole staff got it to home plate pretty quick.
Yeah, and I mean it takes two to tango and catch runners stealing, right? Like
Hmm.
you have to have a pitcher that is helping you out there. So, okay, so we got the first two done. Now our third clip is Johan Otana is on the mound at home. It's the ninth inning. It's an 0-2 curveball that kind of stays up, and you really are able to get your feet underneath you, and the guy's out by a mile. This one, I think, of all the clips, is kind of the most fundamental teaching tape as it relates to formed throwing. But your accuracy is the thing that sticks out here. Can you walk me through this third play against Fayetteville with Dickerson on the receiving end?
As far as the accuracy part,
Any of it?
Oh, that was that guy there, if I'm remembering correctly, hadn't been thrown out very much.
Yeah, no, he was. I think at the time he was second in the league in total stolen bases
Yeah,
too.
I remember he was a good runner. He's actually stolen me once or twice,
Yeah.
and I knew he was gonna go. It was kind of like um, Tommy Hawk was the same way,
Yep.
and I wanted to. There was a few guys that I really wanted to throw out, and that's why I remember that guy. But
He smelled
honestly, that was
Valencia.
the perfect pitch to for Otani as a throw
Right.
for me to out of he was a tough one because his pitches are really good. So it was kind of hard to throw because I was trying to catch the ball too.
A lot of
And
late
then
movement.
that, but also his curveball, he landed it in front of home plate a lot, and people would swing at it.
Right.
And so I just really stayed down, but he threw it, and I knew it was up, and I saw the guy go, and honestly, I just raised up, and it. I think that it made it look like he was out by a mile, but I think if it would have been a good pitch, like he usually would throw his curveball, it
Right.
probably have been closer.
Right. It's an 0-2 pitch that kind of just hangs up there. But I
Hmm.
wanted to ask you, what is your ideal pitch to throw on? Is it something like that, a little bit more elevated?
Probably so. I anything away from the hitters, I like that. So especially with a lefty, like I like to be able to, because I don't throw, and I know this, I don't throw really like a catcher as far as like straight over the top. It's kind of a little bit sidearm, and I've
Yep.
always been like that. So I like to be with the lefty up. I like to be outside of the plate. That way, I know I can throw, and not worry about hitting the guy.
Right. Fair enough. Okay, moving on. This is my favorite clip of the whole bunch. The fourth one. Rob Cran's on the mound, and it's the ninth inning of a 1-1 game. So it's, late game, tight game, go ahead runs at first base, and it's a delayed steal, and you throw from your knees to get this guy, prevent him from going into scoring position. Just walk me through this whole play.
I've done that one other time, but the other time it was a curveball in the dirt, so I just went down and it was kind of like a fluid. But no, they were trying to do a delayed steal there, and I remember the way I had caught the ball, I couldn't get up. I didn't have enough time,
Right.
and so honestly, it was just a reaction, and it worked out. And I threw it halfway to second base, but it kicked up and went all the way there, so it worked out. But no, honestly, that guy got me. I just somehow it went right on the bag.
And also, I don't think that Rob knew that the guy was going, and his like reaction of like trying to hop out of the way is like, please don't hit me with this ball
Yeah, I think,
is
and because it was
amazing.
so low, I threw it so low. I think that he could tell I wasn't trying to throw it back to him
Right.
80 miles an hour or whatever it was. So he's like awkwardly trying to get out of the way. But no, that was a cool one. I, I can remember a few of the throws, and as far as like I thought they were cool, and that might be the one of the year that I think of the most of like I didn't
Yeah.
even I didn't try to do that. It just happened.
Yeah, you had 59 caught stealings on the season, which was second in all of minor league baseball and the highest percentage of caught stealing. And for my money, for style points, that's the very best one for sure. Let's look at this one in the playoff game because a common theme that I think about as it relates to your caught stealings of the season is that they come in situations where the team just desperately needs an out. Here's a situation in the playoff game, first and third, two outs, down a run, and this is the third out of an inning. Can you walk me through with Ben Moore, another lefty on the mound? You said you don't lefty on the mound, lefty at the plate, and it's just another first and third throw straight through, and this is a perfect throw right onto Eli Willits.
Yeah, just like I said, Billy at the end, he had told me first and third he wanted to throw, and
Yep.
I not that before it wasn't, but the middle infield was working really well at this point, and no matter who was out there,
Yep.
it was the same guys really, but it was just they're better at talking to each other, especially say the runner tries to stop in the middle, like I think Billy felt more comfortable with us getting the guy out at home, and it happened.
Yep.
But no, I there were certain situations like you said where they they were making it so obvious that they were stealing to me
Yep.
that we were calling pitches to make it easier for me to throw. So if I'm remembering that play correctly, the pitch before the guy tried to go and then stopped.
Okay.
And a lot of the runners were doing that because they knew at a certain point they had to get a good jump.
Yep.
And our pitchers were quick, and then also, I was throwing it pretty well. So then they knew if they didn't get the perfect jump, and the pitch before he didn't, so he shut it down. And so I was like, well, if he's gonna go again, we're gonna get a pitch to throw here, and he did go again. So uh, it was pretty cool how there at the end when our pitchers, even the new guys, were so quick to the plate. These runners knew if they didn't, they almost had to start running before the pitchers started throwing the ball, or else they were out.
Yeah.
So it made it really fun for me, obviously.
When you think about calling pitches to help you throw, like in this situation, you said you called a pitch that you felt like you could throw on. That just varies pitcher by pitcher? Is it about location, about situation? Like, what are some thoughts that you have when you're thinking about, I'm going to call a pitch that because this guy at first is going to run?
Yeah, for me, usually it would just be a fastball up and away.
Okay.
And that way, if they swing, it's a tough pitch to hit, number one. And if they don't, I'm standing up ready to throw.
Yeah. So it's just that simple.
So,
I just love
yeah,
the I
that easy.
love
I
the
don't know.
simplistic nature of it. No, because like I think that there's a lot of that other athletes could learn from you in this whole situation is that like I'm not trying to overthink this. I'm not trying to do too much here. I'm just gonna do my job and it's gonna happen this way. And it worked out great. So the last clip we have here is your first professional home run and the broadcast shot we have it coming in from the side. We don't This is like the only pitch all year that we didn't take from behind the pitcher's mound. So we don't actually see like the specifics of the pitch, but I remember you saying at the time that you knew it was gone as soon as you hit it. Can you walk me
Mhm.
through that whole at bat and sequence and what it felt like to see that first one go over the fence?
Yeah, obviously, especially in the start first half and all that, there wasn't no shot I was doing that. But no, that pitcher was really good, and he had a really good fastball, and I knew that he wanted to throw his fastball and beat us with it. So, and he did too. I think what we had two or three hits off of him.
Yeah. And he had just had the big start against you guys like in the regular season the week before.
Uh-huh.
So he had had some success. So he just went in there with a fastball, and you said, "No, I'm not getting beat by the fastball."
Right, and I didn't get to face him the week before.
Okay,
So, I don't think, but anyways, we knew he had a good heater and all that. So, he threw it up, and I feel like it's up and away, and I put a good swing on it, and I'm embarrassed to say that that was the only time I hit a home run last year, but that was kind of how I've always hit home runs. So it was a
yep,
cool one to see because it almost made me mad a little bit because it didn't just barely go over.
no, no,
And
that
I'm
was
like,
not a wall scraper.
why couldn't I just do that a
Yeah,
few other times?
the and the torpedo bat too. We talked about that during the season. We'll bring it up again. You switched in the middle of the season to the torpedo bat, which was a huge point of conversation all of last year with really just the baseball community. And actually, I just went to the Arizona Fall League and got to talk to the guy that was the inventor of it, Aaron Lenhart. He was coaching, he's with the Miami Marlins, coaching in the Arizona Fall League with them, and kind of got to pick his brain a little bit. I wonder, one, what was the deciding factor that made you want to try the torpedo bat? And clearly, excuse me, you stuck with it.
To be honest with you, whenever I was really not mentally okay in the box.
Yep.
I just wanted to try something new, and I did. And like I'm not using it anymore.
Okay.
I'm back to just a regular bat and all that right now. But it was just something to try to take my mind off of my swing and then just do something, just use
Yep.
something different. And the reason I stuck with it is because when I bought it or got my agent to give me those, that's the only bats they sent the whole year. So then I didn't have another option.
Right.
So, but I was hitting well with it, so I didn't care.
Yeah, no, the results were good. What would you say is the biggest noticeable difference between the torpedo bat and, as you say, the quote unquote regular bat?
Um, I think especially last year, and this is something I'm trying to work on this year, is being on time. And my whole life, I've let the ball travel really far. And while it worked in college and it worked in high school and all that, it doesn't really work now. I'm trying to, hit the ball out front more. And that was something I really worked on this off season. But I think last year with me being late all the time, it helped with whenever I got jammed because the barrel's like closer to your hands. And so I think for someone that is on time consistently, that bat might not be a great thing for them. But for someone like me that was getting beat, it I was really getting barrels whenever it should have been like with a regular bat, it would have been, not complete jam,
Sure.
but it wouldn't have been hit 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. And you just decided this off season in your training that you feel like you're in a place where you can just go back to what you were doing before.
Right, for sure.
That's
So I also got more bats too. That's
right. Just
that's another.
more physical bats in the space around you.
Right.
Yeah, that's good. What was the focus of your off-season training as it relates to the offensive side of the game?
It was, I definitely got sidetracked with some stuff that I probably shouldn't have been thinking about, especially during the season with hitting.
Yep.
So, just trying to get back to where it feels comfortable and all that, but then also, understanding that I need to hit the ball out front more. And so just doing some different thoughts, whether that's a big thing that I've been doing lately is just trying to hit the ball in the air to left center field. And it's been helping a lot with my contact point and all that. So, yeah, it's been feeling a lot better for sure.
How long is this mini camp that you're currently at?
It's till, well, I think everyone gets here on the 15th, Kent? The 15th. So today was day one, and then until the 14th, I guess, is our last day of it.
Okay, so it's running right into spring training.
Right.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's pretty. I mean, like you said, it's a little bit of a lighter load probably just because they're not going to try to run you guys into the ground right before spring training starts.
Mhm.
But that's that is a long time of baseball and being there in West Palm Beach and being in the sunshine. My next and one of my last questions was what do you plan to attack spring training with? Because last year was your first spring training. You know, we met you in 2024 post draft. Last year was the first real spring training. Now going into your second spring, what are some things that you know now that you didn't know last year when you showed up to West Palm?
Uh, the biggest thing for me, especially being a catcher, is getting my body in shape,
Yep.
and that starts at this before spring training. So last year, especially my arm, I caught and I hit and I did all that stuff, but my arm wasn't in great shape when I came in,
Hmm.
and I thought I'd be fine. I thought we'd kind of, ramp up into it slowly. But once you get to spring training, you kind of just go, and I didn't know that at the time. So, and this year is different, obviously, because we're doing this, and basically, what they've said is this is like still off season, but we're doing our off season here.
Yep.
So we get to ramp up, but before my arm was kind of killing me in the spring
Yep.
because I didn't take care of it like I really should have. So this off season, I started throwing like December, and then my arm's in really good shape right now. So I think just getting my body in a good position to go into the season and not be hurting or anything like that once April starts. So,
Cool. Cool, man. Last one for you before we wrap this up. 2026 will be better for Kevin Bazzell than 2025 because blank. Fill it in for me.
because 2026 will be better because Kevin Bazzell will have more confidence. That's why.
Period. End of
Yep.
sentence. End of podcast. Baz,
Yep.
thanks so much for doing this, man. Appreciate you working through the little bumps in the road that we had here, but it's so good to see you, so good to hear from you, and it sounds like you're doing great, which you love to see.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for having me on.
Of course, man.